So I had this, about a half a year ago, I abandoned making this bowl because there are several cracks in it. So I decided to go ahead and just finish it and complete it and just see how it turned out. I had previously glued in copper into that area there in the middle that has the bigger crack, but as you just saw, I cut it away and just went with the flow of the size of the piece and see where it ends up. Here I'm getting the end spigot or tenon finished so I can mount it in the chuck here, as you'll see. So I thought I would clean it up from the top down now and see what we can do with it. This wood is Bradford Pear. It's very dry and very hard. And when I start to dig out the middle of this bowl, the inside of it, it starts to really challenge my gouge. So as you can see, the shape of this bowl kind of reminds me of the old barrel of monkeys that was a popular children's game in the late 1960s. So I'm getting down into this bowl and I'm starting to struggle with this gouge. And in a few seconds you'll see that I resorted to using a carbide tipped cutter. It got to be a little bit much. There it is. This whole video is sped up 4 times, with the exception of just a few areas where I kept it at normal speed. When I stuck in the carbide tip cutter here, after about a half a second I couldn't see what I was cutting, so I was strictly going off memory of where I needed to cut. Clean it out, take a look, feel for the thickness of the walls, and again I would just use the same strategy of cutting what I know I need to cut, backing it out, cleaning it out, and then feel where I am on it. That's a bottom cutting gouge. It cuts the bottom of bowls pretty good. The bottom of the inside of the bowl, of course. I stuck a big scraper in there, but that didn't really work out. So I want to get my walls thinner, so I'm back to my standard 5/8 inch gouge. Got a nice cut in there. Of course, I'm trying to get a consistent thickness of the side walls from the top to the bottom. And I didn't really want to push it on this bowl. I have several cracks in the bowl, and if I don't watch it, it might just really have a problem. So I didn't want to go too thin. It's probably 1/8 of an inch, or 3/16 in some areas. You can see the crack there. Of course, the autofocus fails from time to time. You can see some of the cracks there. So I got to the point where it was good enough, and then I sanded. This video I edited out most of the sanding. I'm just showing you the beginning and the ending here. I went up to 320 grit, and it sanded up pretty quickly. This is a small bowl. The bowl is 3 1/4 inches diameter, rim to rim, and it's 3 5/8 inch tall. Now I'm applying shellac with boiled linseed oil. It's a mixture, and it's my go-to finish. Just about everything I put this stuff on. It's easy to apply, has a nice sheen. I like the shine, and you know, it's easy to repair if it ever has a problem in the future. Alright, so I turned the bowl around, mounted it on my little setup here, and this bowl is really a problem because as you can see, it popped out of there. So I put it back in, tightened it a little bit more, and took it very easy. Very, very fine cuts. Keep in mind this is sped up 4 times. So I spent a couple of minutes actually getting this down to a nice convex, is that concave bottom. That's the longest standoffs I have for this to hold this bowl in place. As you saw, I protected it with plastic hose so I would not put dents in the wood from the top of the bolts. The top of the bolts actually is a little bit to the right of the thickest part of the bowl, so it really is hanging on precariously. So I took it real easy and then just sanded it. I'm just showing a little bit of the sanding. I went up to 320 grit also on there. But I usually put a few rings in the bottom. You know, I cut a few rings, but I didn't want to do that with this bowl because I was concerned that it would pop out of the jig. So this is the laser engraver, and I date and number my bowls, and I throw on the type of wood it is. This is sped up 4 times. It didn't take long. It doesn't take long for the engraver to do its thing. The laser engraver is made by Ortur, O-R-T-U-R. Nice little split in the bottom. A bowl without cracks is a bowl without character.